Lord's cricket ground protesters invaded the pitch. Sadly, the boos are a microcosm of the emotions many feel, or lack thereof, on the subject of the planet.
Oh my God. Wow. Who's carrying that?
Picture they paint of the future if nothing is done, with these like deadly heat waves rolling through tropics, but also coming up and down. And yeah, well, just anybody who's outside doesn't have access to aircon could die within a few hours, and this could become a really regular thing.
Daniel told us why he protested.
Food systems collapsing, just everything we know about our current way of life just not being able to continue. I don't want to live through that, and I don't want anyone else really to live through that, whether they come after me or anything like that. And so I feel like I just have to do something.
Of course, Daniel was not alone.
I'm taking action for my 7 very beautiful grandchildren. Granting new oil and gas licenses is a death sentence for them and for all children everywhere and grandchildren. We will lose everything we love. You can't play cricket in storms or heat waves or floods. I can't stand by and allow our government to do this. I have to take action.
Judith, a 69-year-old grandmother who works in environmental science, understands the stakes.
The United Nations has already said to invest in new fossil fuels is environmental and moral and economic madness. We're looking at a future where crops will burn in the fields, where there will be droughts and heat waves that will last all summer long, where storms will then come in the winter, flood towns completely, towns and cities. We won't have any food, we won't have anywhere to live.
Solomon, an environmental scientist, spoke out via protest as well. The Just Stop Oil supporters are demanding the UK government immediately halt new oil, gas, and coal projects in the UK and are calling on Lords to make a statement demanding an end to new fossil fuels. Lord's cricket ground boasts about being powered by 100% renewable energy, yet their principal partner is JP Morgan, the world's worst fossil bank that contributed $317 billion in fossil fuel financing from 2016 to 2020 and continues to greenwash to distract from business as usual. JP Morgan, along with the world's 60 largest banks, spent $673 billion on fossil fuel financing in 2022 and $5.5 trillion in the 7 years since the adoption of the Paris Climate Agreement, wrote The Equation's Kathy Mulvey. Since the adoption of the Paris Agreement, JP Morgan Chase is at the top of the list of fossil fuel bankers, financing a staggering $434 billion from 2016 through 2022. Banking on climate chaos, whom Mulvey cited in her work, showed the top 10 worst banks since the Paris Agreement. They are in order: JP Morgan Chase, Citi, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, RBC, MUFG, Barclays, Scotiabank, TD, BNP, and Morgan Stanley. Just 1 month ago, New York City was completely orange because of the Canada wildfires. Major outlets did not mention the term climate change in their reports that evening. The North Atlantic sea surface temperatures rising to unprecedented numbers. Look all the way to the right, that is where we are. WFLA has more. Sea ice is not growing near the South Pole. In its place, growth is labored and departures from normal are the highest ever observed, noted the outlet. Reports indicate that cricket will be the hardest hit of all the major pitch sports by the extreme conditions wrought by the climate crisis. Much of the cricketing world is at serious risk. In recent weeks, Asia has been experiencing a historic heat wave, with some Indian cities experiencing temperatures over 44 degrees Celsius. Climate scientists are warning that this could be the year where summer temperatures in India pass the wet bulb threshold of 35 degrees, a measure incompatible with human life. 230 million people around the world live less than 1 meter above sea level, including nearly 75% of Bangladesh, and sea levels are rising. 33 million people were displaced in Pakistan last year due to extreme flooding.